welcome Commanders family into our Saturday night special. But since we playing on primetime Monday Night Football, it's a Sunday night special. Oh my goodness. I'm sure y'all can hear. We are at RP McMurphy's in the city of Cincinnati. But if you look around us, it feel like we in the DMV, baby, because we are surrounded by burgundy and gold faithful. We love it.
Yes.
I feel at home. This is beautiful. Thank you guys for coming. People drove from the DMV. We have Cincinnati fans here that still represent the burgundy and gold.
There you go.
Thank you all for being here. We do stuff like this just for you guys. We just flew in. We just got in, but we come here to spend time with our fans. So thank y'all so much for being here.
Definitely.
Again, we are at RP McMurphy. Shout out to them for taking care of us. And fellas, y'all know how we do these Saturday night specials, except it's on Sunday. Ain't nothing gonna change.
Sunday night special.
I need to hear y'all memories from primetime Monday Night Football. When y'all think of Monday Night Football and y'all strap up them helmets, what comes to mind? B-Mitch, I'm going to start with you, brother.
Well, on Monday night, when it's on Monday night and it's prime time, you think about everything you ever done. So I returned touchdowns. I played quarterback and scored. But when I think about Cincinnati, I came here in 1991, I think it was. And they had the Icky Shuffle. They didn't shuffle much that day. And I got tackled by a guy, and I heard pop, pop. And I'm like, what the hell? So I started reaching around in my legs, my arms, and nothing was broken. But I figured somebody had something happen. And I broke this guy's arm in 3 places trying to tackle me. So like I'm saying, if you're going to come over there to be Mitch and try to be half-stepping, I'm going to crack something on you.
Around and find out.
And I really believe that after watching football today, I'll say this. After watching football today, I don't think any of us know what really is going on in the NFL. Yeah. We don't know who's the best team, who's going to be the team that's dominant or whatever. But I saw teams today win games that I had no thought that they would win. Yeah. I saw people lose that I thought were going to be doing some things. So why not think that our team could go out here and kick somebody's ass? Yeah. I mean, that's what I feel. I really think that it's a point now where it's not about what people think. It's about what you enforce or you make happen on people. That's how you got to get it done. Yeah. So,
I think when you're talking about Monday night experiences, I don't have nothing against Cincinnati, but you all know the Monday night game. I hate bringing it up because.
You don't hate bringing it up.
Y'all make me feel like it's the only thing I ever did in my career. But it's okay because I take that because I understand. We all know, you know what I mean? We all know. But I got to think, when it comes to Monday night, that game will always stand out for me. That was my first year here with the team, my second game with the team, and we was up in Dallas, and the Monday Night Miracle is what it's talked about now. Most of the people stamped me as the Cowboy Killer because of that night. And not only because of that night, but every week, every time I saw these guys, the next time that year I had a big performance. Every year it was like the same type of, I guess you can say outcome. But we talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think it's going to be one of those games that we want to see this team go out here and flourish and be the team that we want. It's still early. I think it's still early in our season, and we don't know what to expect from this team. I think every week we're going to see this team grow and become the team that we want them to be. But I'm looking forward to seeing hopefully somebody can rewrite the things that I did back in those days in 2005 this Monday night.
It says Commanders family. We know you guys are in the building, but for those watching, we want to tweet you guys. We want you guys to tweet us and ask us y'all questions. Hashtag raise hell. Ask us y'all questions so B-Mitch and Tanner can answer y'all questions live. And, of course, we'll try to field y'all questions in here as well. My lovely producer, Maddie Benton. Give her a round of applause. She will be on there making sure she gets y'all questions and all of that. Now, Tanner, you always showed up for these big games, for these big prime moments. But is there added pressure on prime time?
I don't think it's added pressure. Don't get me wrong. So we all feel the pressure. As a player, you'll be lying if you tell somebody that, man, there's no pressure. I'm going to go out here and do what I do. We feel it. And I'm one of those guys that felt it the most. But I think one of the things that you have to do as a player, and I'm not sure, Brian, but I think so because I feel like this guy, he's on the same vibe or wavelength that I'm on when it comes to how we do things. But I would always tell myself to calm down. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Look at this as any other game. Don't take this game and make it bigger than any other game. You know what I mean? We haven't. This ain't the NFC Championship. This ain't the Super Bowl. So don't look at this game as no special than a regular Sunday game at 1 o'clock. And I would tell myself that all the time just to keep myself neutral. And at the same time, I would tell myself also that, hey, look, you have a job to take care of. And if you get yourself too caught up into the lights and the whole that dun 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 dun, if you allow that to get in effect in you, then you're not going to be yourself. So I would tell myself all the time, let the game flow to me. And it wasn't on Monday night. It was every time I stepped on that field. So that's what I would tell the guys going into this game. Allow the game to flow to you. You feel me?
And B-Mitch, you're talking about pressure situations, man. That first home game for Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn, that was a lot of pressure, but we got the W. What did you see from that New York Giants matchup where we got that win that you want to see on Monday night?
Well, it wasn't exactly how they planned it, but you got it. The whole goal is you plan to win. You don't know how it's going to go. Like we see movies, and you have a planned out sequence of things that happen for outcome. But when you see reality TV, you don't know what the hell is going to happen. And football is the first reality TV. Yeah. And I think when I'm going to take you back to college. You're studying for a test. You don't do anything. You wait till the night before. You study real hard the night before. You really don't know what the hell you're doing. You flunk the test. But if you've been working all semester and you get that test, you pass it. Why? Because you put something into it. Football is no different than that. So if I am putting the work in, week out, that week, big time, when the game comes along, nothing is surprising to me. Nothing is overwhelming to me. I played quarterback in Southwest Louisiana. When I got to the NFL returning kicks and punts, you think I cared about who was coming down to tackle me? Hell no, you didn't. All I cared about was I got the ball in my hand, and I'm a badass man when the ball's in my hand.
Up and down.
And then I ran the ball like I've always done in my life. So I think the whole thing about it is we as fans and as media people, we put pressure on players that is not there. Yeah. That player, if you're a true competitor, you shouldn't be overwhelmed by nothing in football. Nothing. I'm being honest with you. I changed from a position of glory to a position where I used to say they are crazy as hell to be doing that. And I became to love it. Why? Because I put work into it, and I knew I was going to get something out of it, because I wasn't afraid of nobody coming out to tackle me. I wasn't afraid of nobody going to come out and talking to me, because you know what? I had prepared. I lift weights. I'm going to be the guy that's going to inflict pain on you, not on me. And I think that's what football is all about right now. And I think we got enough guys on this team right now. We got a young team, okay? And I think we always expect the highest. But we need to let them grow a little bit. We got a bunch of little pupils. We need them to grow up to be some grown men. And when they get to be grown men, we're going to be cheering for a long time. So the thing about it right now is that it's not about what happens exactly tomorrow. It's about what they build for it to happen for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Because I think everybody wants to see us get to a point where every year we're in the playoffs where we have a chance to go to the dance. If we keep going how we were going, we can't go to the dance. How we're going now, there's going to be a chance, I think, and I'm not going to tell you 5 years, 6 years. No, next 2, 3 years. Yeah. I'm talking about this one too. Next year is one. The following, we should be competing for the playoffs. And we get in the playoffs, then you never know what's going to happen, because nobody became prom queen without being invited to the prom. Yeah. Let's be real.
Let's give a round of applause for these guys right here, man. Let's give it up. All right, now, since we got this family vibe, I'm going to ask y'all, I'm going to go off script a little bit. What y'all want to talk? Offense or defense first? What y'all thinking? Offense first? Let's go. We got some offensive dogs here.
Put that pressure on
offensive first. Well, we're going to talk offense. Let's talk about Jaden Daniels. That's what we all here to see, right? Jaden Daniels, who has showed out those first 2 weeks. What do you want to see from Jaden Daniels as he faces his first primetime matchup against a really tough Cincinnati Bengals team?
Go ahead, Cam.
I mean, one of the things that stand out to me is just progression. I think every week he's going to get a chance to get more acclimated into what he's seeing. One of the things we hear a lot about it is, the development of these guys, these players that's out here. And I want to see him develop more. But I think he surprised a lot of people with how patient he is, how not phased he is. You know, I mean, if you watch him play football, I'm pretty sure all you guys have seen Jaden, you know, whether you was in, you know, in Northwest Stadium or watching him on TV, things don't really make him rattle. And that's one of the things you want to see from a guy. I've had young quarterbacks. I played with them. I understood how when certain things happen in that pocket, you know, I mean, they jump the gun and do something else.
Oh, yeah.
I've watched him, and I'm saying, him, this guy here is staying on script. He's staying on script. So one of the things I want to see from Jaden just progressively grow every week. I think every rep he gets is going to allow him to settle even more. You watch him from week 1 to week 2. You saw a tremendous change. You saw him settle down a little bit. Week 1, I feel like he rushed things at times.
Yep.
He didn't want to force things at times. Then week 2, they told him, like, look here, you have a chance, you have a lane, you have a hole here or two that you can throw that ball in, and then he did that. So I think every rep is going to allow him to, you know, mature and be the quarterback they want him to be, and that's all I want to see from him. You know, you can put wins, losses on him, but I think as long as he's progressing in the right direction, the team is at a good state.
And Mitch, the Bengals have held both of their opponents to under 300 total passing yards in their first 2 weeks. How can we get the ball moving through the air? I think a lot of people have seen how great we've been with the rushing game, right? A lot of people have loved to see Jaden Daniels out there running, but we want to see more aerial movement. How do we throw the ball a little more this game?
Well, I just think that they have to establish the run first. And we know we have Brian Robinson, a maniac. We have Austin Eckler, who's a guy, you can question him all you want. That guy's a badass in this league. And I think if you establish that, then you can now begin to take shots down the field. But ultimately, we see Jaden, we know what he's about, and we forget about how you play football.
Yeah.
You run the football. You establish. I just did the Howard Hampton game yesterday. Yeah. And I talked to these coaches, and they were talking about how they're going to be aggressive down the field. They ran the hell out the football. Yeah. And every team that was running the ball effectively got the momentum. So Cliff Kingsbury has been touted as a guy who runs the air raid offense. He runs the ball. So I think what has happened to us as fans, Commanders fans, we heard he runs the air raid. So we just want to see the ball thrown down the field.
Exactly.
We won 3 Super Bowls in 4 tries with Joe Gibbs. You know how we won that? Running the damn football. And Cliff Kingsbury wants to run the football. So if he keeps running the football, and Jaden Daniels is a running quarterback he's a passing quarterback who can run. I want to make sure I correct that. All of a sudden, when he throws the ball, he's throwing into one-on-one matchup, open windows, instead of having all the people back deep. Because that run was established, and he also has a threat as a runner. So they're working this thing in the right direction. And I know we've dealt with 27 years of futility for a while. But let's give this group a little chance. Because I think they're building a great foundation. I got a house that's been there now since 1993. My house ain't falling. You know why? Because the foundation was great. Yeah. Don't rush the foundation. If we rush the foundation, we're going to have a problem later on. If they build it right, it's going to be like this. Teams that you look at, the Ravens, Steelers, Kansas City, Philadelphia, they are always good. Why? Because they have built their foundation so great to where when they draft somebody this 1 year, 3 years later they're in their prime. And it rotates like that. Instead of like Dan used to do, I'm going to go get 8 free agents, spend all my money, and we can't compete. We do it for a year, then the next year we can't compete. We don't want that. We want to be cheering for our team every year.
And Tanner, to Beamish's point, we are 6th in the NFL in rushing, which is wild to think about after the season we had last year. Brian Robinson Jr. showing that he's not just, a workhorse. He could do everything, man. He's an every down back. How have you liked seeing him utilize so much more and prove that he's one of the best backs in the NFL?
Well, it's crazy because coming into this season, just understanding what I saw from history with Cliff's Kingsbury offense, people get so enamored with just the passing game and how spread, it's a spread offense. He's going to spread everything out. I saw his offenses, pay so much attention to the running backs, guys like Connor come in there and have magnificent seasons. And I'm saying to myself, like, this is going to be the offense for B-Rob to get off. You know, last year we was sitting there chopping at the bits for B-Rob, wondering why he wasn't getting the attempts, wondering why he wasn't getting the yardage that we know he can get. And when Cliff came in here, a lot of people probably said, "Oh man, you know, they brought in, you know, Eckler. Now, you know what would this look like for B-Rob?" But I was saying to myself, like, things finna look nice. It's finna look bright in the back, you know, in that backfield. Just knowing that now you have a veteran that has been around the bush, he knows what it takes to be in this league. Now he can bring a little bit of something to B-Rob's game, and finally B-Rob's get a clean bill of health where he can go into the season injury-free, not putting all the other stuff that he went through year 1 and year 2 behind him, and really go out there and attack what he got in front of him. And I'm not surprised at what I'm seeing from this guy. I know he can do it. I hope they get him in more of a rhythm. If you think about it, 2 years ago when we beat the Philadelphia Eagles when they was riding high, B-Rob was the guy that ran the ball and ran the air out the ball on those guys. So if you take a little bit of what he's shown us before, this is the kind of style of offense we can play behind him when we need to. You understand? We don't have to do that all the time because of what we have as an offensive coordinator and what he can do with the guys on the outside. But when in doubt, now you add an Eckler in there and with B-Rob, those guys can run the air out of the football. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm impressed. I'm happy that we find a way to make sure that this guy is a vital point of our offense.
And Commanders fans, to Tanner's point, we have rushed over 30 times each week. We did not do that one time last season, which is wild to think about. We are getting B-Rob the ball, and of course, a big part of that is Austin Eckler as well.
Yeah.
The fact that he is a number one back, but it says, you know what, I want to take a different type of role. I want to be that team player and help a guy like B-Rob. How have you like seeing how Cliff Kingsbury have used a guy like Austin Eckler? Because he's not just catching. He's ran in between the tackles. He's done a little bit of everything.
Well, football is all about confidence. Mm-hmm. It's all about belief. And people question Austin Eckler's ability. What makes you want to show them what you're about. And when you get an Austin Eckler on your team, guy who's been great for 6-7 years in the league, got hurt last year, had a down year, but put his numbers against people that had great years. He had as good a year as they did. And then he rolls in here as a guy who was undrafted, played at small college, became the guy at a team, and who happens to be playing for a team who the running back coach is his former head coach. Think the head coach will know a little bit about what he can do? Then you have a guy on your team, and Brian Robinson, who was shot and fought back and was playing in 5-6 weeks. A guy who came from a program in Alabama who's unbelievable, who I think is as hardcore as anybody out there. So when you get these guys on the football field now, they are questioned. And one thing about an athlete that's a true competitor, you question my ability, I'm going to prove to you wrong. Mm-hmm. So you got two guys who are trying to prove their worth. A guy who's been playing a while and a guy who's coming up. You got a problem on your hands. Yeah. And the thing about it, they love each other.
Yeah. Yes.
They want to help each other.
Yeah.
They compete in a way where it's not we're competing to harm, we're competing to help. That works. You know, I've been in competition with my friends, and I had friends who wanted to they want to destroy me. Ain't going to happen because I'm going to destroy you. But I've been in competition with friends that we're helping each other out, and you know what? They help the team in the long run. So these two guys are going to do nothing but help the team, and what it does, take pressure off of Jaden. Big time.
And B, you facing me, so you didn't get to see that a celebrity just walked in the building. Let's give it up for Riley Captain in the corner, in the cut. You know what I mean? Pulling up, man. Thank you for being here, brother. Thank you all for being here. Commanders fans, we want you to be a part of this as well, even if you aren't physically here. Hashtag Raise Hell for your questions. Ask these brothers anything. We'll be happy to answer them live for you. Do we have a question? All right, you go ahead and just yell at me. You go ahead and yell at me. You stay right there. Yep, stay right there. Brian Mitchell should be in the Hall of Fame. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes, he should. 2 statements.
I love you.
All love, brother.
All good, man. I love you guys.
All right, no question, just love.
No
but we love.
A bunch of statements. I love that.
That was a statement. That was a question. That was a statement. A statement.
A question and a statement.
Well, you know, it's all good. We love the love. Don't walk for the. Thank you so much, brother. We gonna need you. We got a live show going on. Be careful. And that is the beauty of these live shows, Commanders family. We are at RP McMurphy's out here in Cincinnati. Now, you know, I'm gonna try this one more time. That was a little rocky. I'm gonna try this one more time. Fan question, go ahead, man. Just stand there. You can just stand right there.
What makes it so hard to go up against a team that's 0-2?
What makes it so hard to go against a team that is 0-2 was our fan question right there.
It's human nature. Team is 0-2, and you think the team sucks. Naturally, that's what we think.
They don't.
But they don't. And I think the coaches, it's their job to make sure you understand.
Yeah.
And when you watch the film, you can't look at their record. You look at what's going on the field. Football is a difference of 4 to 5 plays every week. We can see 70, 80 plays in the game. 4 to 5 plays make the decision in that what's going to happen in that game. And I think if the players have been looking at Cincinnati at 0-2, don't do that. But when you look at them, they lost to the Patriots, and they barely lost to Kansas City. But I also say this. They always play Kansas City great. So they can be awful, just like every time we play the Eagles. The Eagles will be great. We play them to the wire.
Yeah.
So some matchups is just great. But the ultimate thing is, can't worry about them. The mistakes we've had, we get in the red zone, false start, holding. We hurt ourselves. We had 7 field goals, and I applaud the kid who kicked all the field goals, or Austin Seibert. But if we don't hurt ourselves, we got some touchdowns going on. So you got to score. So 0-2 means nothing.
Yeah.
It's about what you can do to improve what you've done.
Next question.
All right, go ahead, bro.
I'm a De'Ami Brown fan.
Yeah.
I was on social media, and before the season started, when they were going into camp, everybody was saying, "Oh, De'Ami Brown is going to get beat out." And I was like, "De'Ami Brown must be hard to get beat out."
Yeah.
He reminds me a lot of you. I don't understand why he ain't as successful as you.
Yeah.
So the question is about De'Ami Brown, a guy that fans have really excited to see, and a guy that did make the roster, but the fan feels that he has very parallels to Santana's skill set as far as that speed is concerned. So he wants to know, why isn't De'Ami Brown found success as of yet?
I think one of the things fans have to understand that I have the same questions. You know, I've been a fan of him also, and you know, when you see a guy with so much potential, you want to see him out there, but this game isn't what everybody think it is. You can just put any guy out there and he can do what it do. You have to bring a little more than potential to the game. And what we fail to realize is that whatever you saw before in the collegiate level, it's a whole different league when they come up here in the NFL. And if you can't do that on a consistent basis, then the team or your coaching staff is not going to depend on you. They're not going to count on you to go out there and make those plays. So I think a guy like De'Ami Brown this year, being that he's on the team, he showed everybody that, hey, I'm capable of being one of those guys. He showed you that he can make plays. And I think, truthfully, he hasn't showed us enough yet. I think he's still going to have his day where he can really show us that, hey, I have arrived in this league. But I'm just like you, brother. I want to see him with more opportunities, more attempts. But it's going to be all left up to him. You know, that's one of the things that we feel like we can always depend or root for a guy, but it's all up to him to go out there and show that staff that he's capable of doing that on a consistent basis. And that's what it's all about.
That's a great question right there. And honestly, B. Mitch, before we wrap up offense, I think we stick with that, right? Who on the offense do you want to see step up on primetime?
Oh, Lord. I just want to see the offensive line step up. We have complaints about Jaden running too much, doing this, doing that. If he has time, he could deliver the football. I'm not saying the offensive line have been bad. I just wanted to see him be better. And if they're better, then he could deliver the ball in a timely fashion where he doesn't have to use that superhero ability that he has. So I want to see them just step up a little bit. And it's not a complaint. It's just I want an enhancement of what they've been doing good so far.
Yeah.
And Tanner, what about you? Somebody from this offense that you feel needs to step up for us to get this W in prime time.
I don't think this guy needs to step up. I feel like this guy need more opportunities. And y'all already know Scary Terry. I know there's a lot of Scary Terry fans out there. Look, man, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. When you really watch the game and you look at it from a standpoint where we look at it from as being analysts, we can see the different coverages that they're trying to affect what he does, for our offense. But at the same time, you heard Cliff go out there and put himself on the limb and say, I need to get him more involved. Now, I hate to be that guy to say all that because teams hear all that stuff too. You know what I'm saying? The opposing team hear that, okay, if they're going to come into this game plan thinking that they're going to get him involved, then we're going to make sure that we put coverage towards him. What I would say is that don't push it or rush it. You know what I mean? Allow him to be effective accordingly to how the game flows. But I truly believe that he's a guy that can be a vital point to this offense that can really see us go deeper than where we've been at. I think you got to think about it. What we've shown thus far with our rookie quarterback and those guys in the backfield, if you're excited about what you've seen thus far, just imagine what you can be excited about seeing Terry involved in this offense. So when I look at those things, man, I just hope that we can honestly, truly, we all looking at that same play. I wanted to stop talking a long time ago. I was watching the 49ers and the Rams.
Does Jaden have that dog?
Jaden,
I mean, you can.
Jaden is that dog.
He is that dog.
Hey, he don't dog in him. He's that dog.
Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay. Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay. That's my answer. You know what I'm talking about? That's Jaden to the day. You feel me?
And that's why you see the energy change too. When you have your quarterback like that, that comes in, no matter how young, comes in and just sets the tone, and that's what he's done. And you know what? Let's set the tone with a fan question. We got a fan question for this gentleman right here. What's your name, bro? Daniel. We got a fan question from Daniel right next to my producer, Maddie Benton. And the question is, against the Cincinnati Bengals, do you expect the team to pass more or run more?
I think they're gonna come out and try to establish the run, and if Cincinnati put all their efforts to try and stop the run, they're gonna start throwing the ball some more. But I don't think you just come out. I know everybody. Listen, I'm just gonna say it to the fans. Don't get mad at me. We play real football. Fantasy football is secondary. Okay. All y'all want to just throw the damn ball around the yard all day. That S don't work in real football. Okay. You got to establish the run, make it physical, then you get a chance. So they're going to try and run the ball. Because you got two guys, Austin Eckler and also Brian Robinson. And then, but I will tell you this. Jaden Daniels is a much better passing quarterback than he ever gets credit for. He's a pocket guy. But the guy has an unbelievable ability. And my whole thing is God gave it to you, use it. So I know fans don't want him to run, all this stuff. I think I call one finger salute. I'm not going to put it up. But anyway, I would just say this. If God gave it to you, use it. To hell with everybody else says.
No doubt. I feel like I would love to see a complementary approach. I want to see these guys be able to establish the run, for one, and be able to lean on that and be able to open the passing game. I think when you look at what they're coming into this game with, they have a couple of guys up front that's injured. Their defensive line, they have a couple of guys that's missing. So if you look at what we went into the game with last week, and everyone talked about the Giants' defensive front and how it's going to be hard for us to establish run, we did that. So we showed you what we can do when we establish a run. So I think every week we should go out there and try to do that. Oppose our will against any defender or any opposition, and I think this is to be the prime time to do that. You feel what I'm saying? If you establish the run with our guys, they understand what they got up front. They understand what they're lacking. They understand what we did last week. They're gonna try to hinder us from doing that. That opens up the passing game. That gives us those favorable matchups that we're looking for. Now you can dink and dunk down the field. So if we can play complementary football, we have a chance to go out here and win this fight. And I think it's going to be just that, a fight, because you can't doubt, Joe Burrow. You can't doubt the guy on the outside and Jamar Chase. And they got T. Higgins back. I'm not sure if y'all heard that he's back this week. he's going to be up this, Monday night. So when you have two receivers like that, you think about week 1, what, Mike Evans and those guys, Godwin them did to us. We have to be ready in the back end. But I think offensively, where we protect them is by running that football and running the air out of their football.
Great fan question. Honestly, I think that's the perfect time to get into this defense because you mentioned Jamar Chase, you mentioned T. Higgins. I think all eyes are on Joe Witt Jr., right? Yeah. This Bengals team is 0-2, but they showed signs of life in their old self against the Kansas City Chiefs. So they're a lot better than they look on paper. Yeah. Is this the game where Joe Witt Jr. shows why we were so excited about him taking control over this defense, B. Mitch?
I think Joe Witt Jr. Has brought the same approach and scheme that he had in Dallas. I don't think the pressure on Joe Witt. The pressure's on our defense, our players. Joe Witt don't play football. Yeah. Joe Witt coach football. We have guys on our defensive line that don't consistently get pressure, and we need to get that. We have guys that have. One thing I know about football, I was a quarterback. I was a running back. I got my love based off of the big guys in the front handling business. And that happens on defense as well. If you're not doing your job consistently in the front, how the hell you expect the back to be better? And I believe if we get more pressure up front, outside, it'll work out. So it's on those guys. One thing about football is we all have self-pride. Okay? And we should be they should be challenged at this point. Everyone selfishly, individual players. Am I doing enough? Am I getting off of one-on-one blocks? If they double team me, is the other guy getting there? If they double team him, am I getting there? So for me, it's not about Joe Witt. It's about the players that are on the field snapping up the chin strap. Are you playing well enough? And are your standards high enough to where you're pissed off at what you're being presented? That's where I'm at with it.
And Tanner, in your playing days, you're one of those players that defense is schemed against. They couldn't stop you. They just could hope to slow you down. Jamar Chase is very similar to that. How do we slow down Jamar Chase?
Well, I think if you look at some of the film from the guys that he faced these past 2 weeks, one of the things I saw was a tremendous effort of getting him off his route. You had guys that was basically covering other guys that made sure that they went out their way to bump him when they went through covering the next guy. And it was odd because I'm like, they're going out their way to make sure Jamar Chase don't affect this game. And that's what you have to do. When you're trying to establish something as a team, as an organization, as a coaching staff, you go out that way, you go out your way to make sure, like, look, hey, we're going to make sure this guy don't beat us. And that's what I saw from the last 2 teams that they faced. Now, if you think about it, last week, he got so rattled to where he went off on to the refs, and that's what you want. You want to see that guy at that moment. You want to see him at his worst, being that he's sitting there arguing with the officials because of how he's being mistreated. But at the same time, that's just a great coaching scheme, making sure that, hey, every time you see that guy appear in your parameter, make sure you bump him. Make sure you do something to him. They had so much attention towards him to where he didn't feel like he was being effective. And that's what you want from a guy. So that's what I would think. It's a copycat league. Bring that same approach into this game. So you got to think about week 1, week 2 for us. What was our handicaps? When we got in man-to-man, they found a way to bring these guys in tight, the receivers in tight. They run crossing routes to make sure that they can, get those favorable matchups, knowing that we was going to be man-to-man. Have we learned? Have we learned from what we saw week 1? That week 2 it showed up again. On the first series, the Giants made a completion to Neighbors on the 3rd down where he got in tight, ran cross field, shallow cross, and he's by himself because that guy that he had man-to-man, he left him. Can we switch off and be in a defense where we understand that they're going to do this to us because we show that on film? So these are some of the things we got to do against Jamar Chase. But not only Chase, like I told you before, Higgins is up this week. Yeah. We got 2 guys to worry about. So we got to play a defense like no other to make sure that we can stop both of these guys from being special.
And guys, while we're talking about these receivers, let's talk about Benjamin St. Juste for a minute. Yep. Because last game, I think, was a game we've been waiting to see from him for a while, those confidence boosters. Tanner, you play wide receiver. When you go against those corners that you watching film and seeing them, you say, oh, man, his confidence is up. Does that make a corner a little bit scary when they get that confidence up in a previous game where they were able to make some plays and coming into the game with a little more confidence?
So what I would do is, before I get to answering that question, I would say I was pleased with what I saw from St. Juste last week. He's been a guy that I've been a fan of since day one, not because of what he showed me, but because of his attributes, his height, his wingspan, and just the guy I saw out there at times. I'm like, this guy, if he's developed the right way, he has great potential to be one of the stars in this league at his position. When it comes down to a guy like that, I never watched those guys. I'm going to be real with you. Like, as a receiver, getting ready, prepping for a game, I prep for the defense, never watch the individual guy because I cared less about what they did individually. I was more worried about what they did as a whole to stop what I do. You know, one of the things that was vital to me is if you had a strong rush, then that was going to stop a lot of things that we did with me, because if the quarterback can't get the ball to me, who cares about who's sticking me? You understand? So with that being said, I'm loving the fact that I'm watching these guys, especially a guy like St. Juste, who's learned from week 1 to week 2. I want to see that same group, that same growth in week 3. I want to see him mature enough to say, okay, he's learned what the different positions he was in week 1 and week 2, week 3. You can't catch him in that again. And I think that will allow all our guys as a whole to be more efficient. Defensively, I've seen different changes with the coaching staff and how they call plays in the second half of games. If all these guys could be on the same accord, it's early right now. It's too premature for us to want this, from our staff. But if these guys could catch on anytime soon, it's going to be trouble for a lot of guys, because I feel like they're so young and it's so new to them, they still haven't got a grips of it. You know what I mean? They still haven't caught a grasp of it. If they can catch on to what they're being taught and be able to play within those confinements, trust me, man, it'll be Castle Crimson for a lot of teams.
See, the thing about being young is this. You can be too young when you're scared to try what you think you know.
Yeah.
Or you can be just so young and stupid to where you don't care. They need to get to the point where they're young and stupid, they don't care. Mm-hmm. To where they are not afraid. See, you can be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
But if you are afraid to fail, you won't be successful. And Benjamin St. Juste showed last week the ability that he has. And in some games, I actually see him, and he's in position. But he kind of gets to a point where he doesn't believe in himself enough just to run and put his hand up. He begins to, oh, Lord, and grab.
Not up.
That's a penalty right there. These guys have to get to the point where you do it so much to where it becomes second nature. Anybody out here, I don't care if you rode a bike last week, yesterday, or 25 years from now, from 25 years ago, do you get on the bike and say, oh, right foot, left foot, or you just start pedaling? You just start pedaling, right?
Take off, right?
That's how you want to play football.
Yeah.
Where you do it so much to where you don't even think about it. You just do. Defensive backs that are great, when the ball is thrown and their back is turned, they look at the hands and they run and then they do this. I put my hands where his hands is, I look. Because if you don't look, it's going to be a penalty anyway. But if he's trying to catch a ball, my hands in between his, I'm stopping the ball from going into his hands, right? Mm-hmm. Benjamin, who shows it every once in a while, a lot of the other defensive backs shows it. They have to get to the point where it's second nature. Yeah. To not where, oh, I just got beat, I got to put my hands up. If you're thinking on the football field, you're losing. I promise you that. Believe me.
Give these guys some love right now. Yes, yes. We are at RP McMurphy's doing our live show, and the fans showed up and showed out, man. Thank y'all so much for always showing up for us, man. It means so much to us.
Appreciate y'all.
We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thank y'all for the fan questions. We hope to see y'all Monday night. But if y'all not at the game, Y'all can still tune in to post-game and pre-game live. 6:30 p.m. will be pre-game live on game day. These fellas will be breaking down everything just like they did just now, and we'll be right on the field. And then after the game, post-game live, we hearing from coaches, players, because of course we'll be celebrating a victory, right? Yeah, there we go. All right. There you go, baby. Positive thinking. Yeah. Fellas, as we wrap up, final words, final thoughts before we get on primetime.
Well, I'm looking forward to a great game. You know, one thing about me, as a former player and a guy who does media, I don't sit and watch every game. I like to watch, like, patterns. What I saw today was a lot of teams that everybody bet on. You lost a lot of damn money. We assume they're going to win. But football has changed. Back in the day, when I played, Tanner played, if a team was considered great, good, you can bet on them and bank on it because they played all preseason. Today, nobody plays in preseason. So we don't know what we're going to get. Teams that looked great last week look horrible this week. Teams that were horrible last week are great this week. And I'm going to say this. You're not lying about that. We have a team who came in the first game, who, if you look at that game, it was closer than what the score indicated. Second game, we won without scoring a touchdown. Yeah. So if you win without scoring a touchdown, your team is not bad. It's good. We have to find a way to don't shoot ourselves in the foot, don't hurt ourselves. Mm-hmm. And if we can get that, yes, I believe definitely we can win this damn game. Yeah. You know, I'm not one to ever go into a game, oh, we're going to lose the game. No. I look at the fact that they lost to New England. Case closed.
Yeah. I should say case closed right after that one. Honestly, I'm looking for progression. I think, you know, when you have a team that's still trying to find their identity, you give them a chance. You give them that grace period of establishing what they're trying to be. But at the same time, I'm with B. Mitch. Anything is possible. You know, that thing they say that any given Sunday, even given Monday, even given Thursday or Saturday, you can win this game.
You're never taking over the whole week.
If you exactly. It's football, whatever day of the week you want. But I think, you know, we have a capable team. But I just want to see them continue to grow. And I think going into this week, this matchup is going to be one of those matchups where everybody's counting us out. So, you know, when they count you out, things normally happen differently. You know what I'm saying? It's not what everybody going to expect to happen. So I'm looking for us to hold them W's up and be on top.
Amen. Nothing but W's. One more time for Brian Mitchell and Santana Moss. Yes. And one time for all of y'all that made the drive, that made the trip, that represents the Burgundy of Gold. Again, we will see y'all tomorrow, Game Day Live, 6:30 p.m., right from the field. We out here in Cincinnati. Shout out to RP McMurphy's for holding it down and hosting us. Shout out to my producer, Maddie Ben, for taking care of things. Ben! Yeah, our photographer, Chastity Corset. Yes, yes. This is the Command Center crew. We are out. We're about to go get some food. See y'all tomorrow at 6:30. I'm hungry.